You're lucky your friend Hunter over here is a magician when it comes to technology. I need you right in front of me, them hips, them thighs. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake?
Talking about technology.
Are you Justin Timberlake or would you be 50 Cent in that if we were a duet?
Oh, 50 Cent all day long. But honestly, you just named two people that are in my top 5 to have lunch with sometime.
Dude, come on. Let's just be honest. As soon as halfway through that sandwich, you're gonna be having sex with both those men.
So
you try to soften the blow and be like, these are my top 5. I was waiting for sex, and you're like,
listen, no male or female is gonna deny any sort of affection and attention from JT. That's for one.
100%. Dude, you know,
okay. What's 50 Cent? Lloyd Banks, right?
Yeah. Dude, he's been
Also
shot 9 times. You know he's got to be
all around stud. It's sympathy sex at that point.
100%. Dude, you know, I was thinking, have you seen the movie Night at the Roxbury?
Yeah.
Dude, we should, next time we go out partying, we definitely need to dress up. I'll be Will Ferrell and you're the other guy. I can't remember his name, but that's like that would be the greatest duo, dude. We look just like them.
Actually, you're kind of right. If you were like an athletic version of Will Ferrell, and I don't even know who the other guy is, but
I feel so bad. I gotta Google this now because we're insulting somebody who's one of the greats.
I know.
Night at the Roxbury cast. Roxbury, boom.
I mean, I think we need to be realistic when it comes to technology stuff. We really need some kind of a manager or a producer.
Chris Kattan, dude. If you Google pictures of Chris Kattan right now, he looks like a fucking vampire. Holy crap. Age did not hit this man well at all.
Hey, seriously, anybody who's watching this right now, if you have any sort of production experience, TV, radio, whatever, hit us up because we need help.
Well, Liam, whole reason why I hired him was supposed to be chief technical officer, and he's just down in Santa Monica being a total noob.
Dude, he's spending all his time just basically mowing lawns so he can buy more Magic cards and take advantage of little kids' lunch money with that.
By the way, 3-0 last night with my new Beast Goblin deck. It's pretty much.
You took down Liam.
3-0.
Same deck, or was he changing decks?
He's changing decks, dude. Literally, it was like a game of dominoes. Like there was never a start. There was never an end to the fucking entourage. Or like, you know, it just of
that's
just
pretty solid.
Beatings of
that's pretty solid. I've already forewarned you. If you try to come at me with a Goblin deck, my fortress is reinforced with tons of anti-goblin devices and goblin moats and goblin lasers.
And so you know, there's
basically impenetrable.
There's an update right now. Your mom just recently became your roommate. Are you and your mom basically spending the majority of your day trying to build decks to beat me? Because we both know that's not going to turn out well. And there's no way I'm going to play cards against you and your mom together. So, I know you're going to gang up.
So my parents are transitioning to boat life. They're like buying a 40-foot sailboat to spend their retirement sailing around the East Coast of the States. And in the process, my mom has like come down to live with me for the next 2 months while they're like trying to get the whole boat thing sorted out. And she's agreed to become my personal assistant, and it's working phenomenally. So I'm an organized person, but I'm not like good at like all like the little day-to-day shit. Like, for example, you know what Easy Pass is? Like the toll thing when you drive through.
Impossible to figure out. I still have bills, dude. Look at this shit. I'm getting bills from these people all the time.
So we're sitting out at breakfast yesterday, and my mom's like, "All right, well, do you have anything you want me to take care of?" And I opened a drawer and I took out a stack this tall of Easy Pass bills. It's like, "Mom, I can't figure this out. I need your help." And my mom is a fucking wizard when it comes to like getting shit taken care of on the phone. You know, like when you call someone up, like you call the cable company, like they're sorry, nothing we can do. Like, you know, try again. She like will take that response and turn it around on the person and like have them in tears until that you get what you want. And within 15 minutes, she had all my tolls sorted out. I got an Easy Pass in my truck now. She's like just knocking things off one at a time. We've got a calendar. It's fantastic. I'm going to be like a 10x more productive person.
I can tell you right now, if I could find the person who created the system where they took humans out of like the call hotlines and put that like automated robot that makes you take about 15 laps around the sun before you're actually allowed to be on the phone with somebody. They're like, press 1 if you'd like more information. You press 1. They're like, press 1 through 4 if you'd like more information on these. And you go through that, and it just keeps on going. And then it keeps, once you get to exactly where you want to be, you click a button, and then it takes you back to stage 1.
It's honestly like how I select, choose my products. You know, a lot of people will like Google and like Yelp reviews of like, oh, I want this vacuum cleaner, that vacuum cleaner. Like I was trying to choose between a Concept 2 bike erg and an assault bike. And I called the two up. I called up Assault Bike, their main number, and it was like beep, 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 some recording about press 1 for this, press 2 for that. I call up Concept 2. Within like 15 seconds, someone's on the phone. They're giving me help. They're like, they bump me to the front of the waiting list. I'm like, that's it, hands down. I'm a Concept 2 guy now because they pick up their freaking phones. It's that easy, people. You don't have to have millions of dollar PR campaigns. Just pick up your freaking phone when customers call.
I never really thought about it that way. I'm not going to lie. I never leave the house anymore. And I've become this like really creepy Amazon buyer. Like everything I want, Amazon, like potato chips, Amazon, batteries, Amazon. By the way, you know what this real
I'm not
entirely
convinced you know how to set up an Amazon account, and then that's really like your account, or you're just like borrowing your brother's account.
Oh, dude, you want to hear the funniest story about spending other people's money? So 2018, Benny and I ended up meeting up, and I was really drunk. And for some reason, Benny put his card into my Uber. And 2018, between us and whoever's listening, I spent $32,000 on travel because I was traveling so much that year.
I thought you were gonna say Uber.
No. $1,000 of that was put on Benny's credit card. And so I find out maybe about 2 months later and I've been traveling all over the place, and I'm going from LAX.
You ordering Uber helicopters?
Of course. But dude, it was tremendously expensive because every time you go from JFK in, it's $75.
Oh God. Yeah.
So just a bunch of expenses, and it was just racking up big time. And I realized, I looked at my Uber one day and I was like, oh my God, I was like, I don't own a MasterCard. I'm like, what is this all going on? So I sit there all stressed out. A couple weeks go by, and then it's like a month, and I'm sitting next to Benny. I'm like, dude, Benny, you want to hear the weirdest thing? It was a Discovery card. I was like, dude, I don't know what to do.
Well, that's what you get for having a Discovery card. Come on.
I was like, dude, I don't know what to do, but I think one of the businesses I work with gave me one of their credit cards, and I've been racking up tons of money. He's like, what type of card is it? He goes, Discovery. He's like, dude, that's my credit card. I was like, how? I was like, first of all, 1, I'm embarrassed. Second of all, 2, how did you not know that someone was paying a credit card for this much money? Yeah. So Amazon is actually on my card, which I'm quite proud of.
What was your most recent purchase?
On Amazon?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm here to talk about.
We all know it's magic cards.
So people, this right here, I like to call the Dirty Harry 10,000 rat cannon. This right here, I got off Amazon.
Good trigger discipline there, by the way.
What's that? You like that?
Good trigger discipline.
Yeah, you gotta control yourself. This is a single shot crack barrel. Okay.
Is that a hand pump pistol?
Damn right.
Dude,
this is the rat cannon.
Those are hard to come by nowadays.
Damn right. So this is how our today's episode, now that we've gone through this long-winded Kempson and I catching up, today's episode is on the Second Amendment of the United States. And Morningwood Radio is all about fascinating men having fascinating conversations. Kempson and I are going to talk about the history of firearms. And mostly this is to celebrate the fact that Kempson actually got on the podium at Tactical Games, the big old tactical. Kempson, let's hear a round of applause.
I'll give myself a pat on the back.
I know. I'm hoping a technical officer can add a collapse to this episode.
And I just go, oh no, thank you. That's too much. That's too much.
Congratulations,
everybody. Thank you. No, really, it's thank you.
Why don't you give everybody a little quick recap? Tell everybody about how you put the beating on probably one of the most prevalent gun owning states in the United States of America.
So we headed down to Texas. The venue is about 45 minutes north of Austin. Texas actually opens up today. They're removing all of their COVID ban. So good for you, Texas.
Congratulations, Texas.
Congratulations. People are very excited. Let me tell you that. So we get down there. The venue is out kind of in the middle of the desert, more or less, and it is hot. Like it's not actually hot. It's only like 70 degrees, but the sun down there is. I've spent a good amount of time in Texas, and I guess I wasn't outside that much because all our other competitions are indoors. Yeah, it's way closer to the equator, and like I was saying before, I got horrifically sunburned. But besides the point, so this is my third competition this year. First two, I just missed the podium. I was in fourth place. And I was trying to figure out what the difference is between me being able to be top three in this sport and not. And I really focused during this event on slowing down, being more controlled during my workouts, still being quick, but just taking that little couple percent off the top, and then focusing on my shooting a lot more. And I shot rifle about as good as anybody in the entire competition. And I shot pistol a lot better than I have been shooting, basically good enough to come top three. I had two fairly major mess ups with the pistol that if I took those out, I'd be more in contention for the win, which we're hoping to do down in Utah next month, or in May, beginning of May.
May what?
May 1st and 2nd.
I'll probably be there with a rat cannon 10,000.
Hell yeah. So Hebner's coming out to that one.
Well, Hebner's going to get fucking blown away. Just going to throw that out.
What's your kill count with that thing so far?
It's about 100 and 0. I mean, 0 and 100.
Not so good.
All of the weapons that I've had, this is the hardest one to shoot. Like it's so powerful, but what's that?
So I'm going to tell you right now is, and I don't think that you've had a lot of experience shooting pistols at like for accuracy. Because one thing, just like pick up a pistol and just shoot it, or maybe try to hit like a big target in front of you. Yeah. It's because me and you spent a long time with the BB gun rifle that we had back in Boulder.
And I'm a dead shot with that.
Exactly. Me too. But when you try to transition that into pistol shooting, it's a totally different art form. It's like, it's not even the same freaking ball game.
But I go to shooting ranges and I'm quite accurate.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, it's just totally, totally different. Especially when you get something with as much horsepower as that bad boy's got there.
10,000. So listen, I'm just throwing this out there. If anybody listens to this has spare 44 Magnums, or you're a sponsor and you want to sponsor Kempson because he's one of the top athletes in the sport right now, or you want to sponsor an up and comer who's a big dreamer and has a lot of spunk, we're looking.
Honestly, if I had to use two words to describe you, it would be big dreamer and lots of spunk.
Yes.
Like, put that shit on your resume, maybe get an airbrush t-shirt made with it. That's your thing.
Dude, do you not see this?
Yeah.
This rat cannon right here, I can hold it with both hands. And
what does Clint Eastwood say in Dirty Harry? You feeling lucky?
Do you, punk? That's basically what I say to all the rats, but they want to come out. But since you kick so much ass, we decided we were going to go into the history of firearms. So, Kempson, since you're the champion, I'm going to let you come out with the first interesting fact. But hold on. Let's just address the Second Amendment right here. How do you feel about, and this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, how do you feel about guns in the United States?
I mean, my opinion on, and we're going to try not to get political on this, but I'll just come out there with it. My opinion on everything is basically let the people do less government intervention on people. I'm not a Republican. Ooh. I am not a Democrat. You could probably say I lean more towards libertarian, if anything, which is just basically, giving the people their own liberties. And the way where guns fall into that is, why should the government be able to say that certain the military and law enforcement can have these weapons, but your average citizens can't? That, to me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, I'm not pro everybody should have an automatic weapon under their passenger seat, but I also don't think that it's the government's right to tell them what they can and can't do.
Well, as far as I can tell you right now, I'm pretty much on the same page. I don't own a gun, so I can't really do any damage. But I will admit, I don't think the majority of people I know should own guns. I also don't think the majority of people I know should own cars. I don't think the majority of people
100%.
should be able to take in substances, but I just don't think that the biggest issue in our country has anything to do with guns. So like,
Yeah.
why start there? Work on other
Yeah.
shit that's like way more valuable with our government's time and restrictions and like making our country a better place. Probably.
Yeah. If you want to get into the nitty gritty of like lawmaking and everything, most of the effort from politicians that goes towards, anti-gun policies is for banning assault weapons. And assault weapons have a very extremely small percentage, make up for an extremely small percentage of gun deaths in this country. Majority of gun deaths are suicide, and almost the vast majority of all of them are committed with handguns. So
you're
there's
telling
kind
me
of a
this rat cannon 10,000 is actually a danger to me.
Exactly. I'm telling you that hand blaster you got pose a significantly bigger threat to the safety of our common folk than all the rifles I got sitting in my closet.
Oh fuck, dude! I just spent so long trying to find all of the information about gun history. Did you see where we put it?
No, but while you look for it, I'll rattle off some facts because there's some pretty interesting statistics out there. Did you know? All right, I'm gonna have you guess right here. How many guns do you think there are for every 100 people in the United States?
Based on military things, I would probably say 2,000.
That's a very high number, but essentially it's like, I think it's 1.2 or 1.3 for every person in the United States. So as a country, we've got 393 million firearms. Guess what the next largest country is? Sorry, the country that has the next largest amount of firearms.
Russia?
It's the one with a lot of people. It's India.
Oh shit! It was so close.
Yeah, India's got what, like 5 or 6 times the amount of people we have. They have 71 million guns.
Way too many.
So we have, compared to all the other countries in the world, that's almost 6-7 times the amount of guns as the next biggest country has. And that's India, which is a freaking huge country. China's got 49 million, Pakistan, 43 million,
That's
Russia,
it?
17 million,
17
France,
million
12
guns,
million.
that's it?
North Korea only has 76,000. This is including military.
That's so nuts, dude.
So we I don't know if you're good at math, but 76,000, 393 divided by 76,000 is something like, gosh, wow, I don't know if I can do the math right now. 10, 15, 45, like 50 or 60 to 1. For every one firearm they possess in North Korea, we've got about 60 of them in the United States. I don't really care who you are, but that makes me feel a little bit better about Kim Jong-un over there, right?
Not really. He has nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Well, I feel better now because as of 2 months ago, Mr. Donald Trump was do you know that the president has the sole authority to press the nuclear launch buttons, and he's got the codes. He doesn't have to ask permission from Congress, from anybody. If he's ready to launch those suckers, he literally presses it. And that was entirely up to the responsibility of Trump 2 months ago. That's terrifying.
Well, I don't know. I feel like after watching that movie about Dick Cheney actually kind of really running the country behind George Bush's back and him just being a front man, I kind of felt like similar things may have been going on with Trump the whole time.
I mean, if you compare the two, like if you watch interviews with George Bush or like his announcements to the country, he seemed like a really nice guy.
He was the greatest.
But intelligence wise, and maybe he just came off wrong, but I can't say he looked like a very intelligent human being. And you can obviously say the same with with Trump. I think Trump's a little sharper witted maybe than Bush was, but there's definitely some similarities there for sure.
If I had to pick like OG, it's got to be, I'm going to put MVP on George W. And I would like to say Lincoln. But I don't feel like a lot of those guys.
Solid, dude.
Solid.
So I was walking through a bar the other day and I saw, you know how they have those like trivia of the days?
Found it.
It was you win a free beer if you get it right. Who's the only bachelor president we've ever had in the United States?
Single.
Yep.
Taft.
Wasn't Taft. It was Buchanan.
What a name.
Right.
Supposedly Eisenhower was like very, very sexually promiscuous. I was going to say Eisenhower next.
That would have been it. That would have been a
wild man when it came to that stuff.
I mean, if you want to talk about guns, Roosevelt's got to come up in that conversation.
Dude, Teddy Roosevelt went. Go read the book The Naturalist and just read about how he like inserted himself into situations. He was a boy who grew up in New York City, and he like forced himself to go be a cowboy. And then he was like going down to the jungles of the Amazon and killing creatures with like the most badass rifles ever. Like, dude was straight up as like American as it gets.
Yeah, I believe he carried a Colt. There's a story about Teddy Roosevelt where he was out in Missouri with a friend. They were on like a hunting trip and they had their boat, right? And they're out at that point. Missouri was like, you get west of Missouri, you're basically in like Indian wild country, right? Wild West, essentially. And their boat got stolen by some like river thieves, right? And they were, I don't know, maybe 20 miles from the town they came from. All they had to do was walk back. And just out of pure principle, Roosevelt went and tracked these guys down. He had a pistol on him. He didn't shoot him. He just him and his buddy beat the crap out of these thieves and took his boat back, tied him up, and rowed him back up river all the way back to the nearest town just so they could punish them, purely out of principle of just not wanting anybody to mess with his stuff. That's a bad dude right there.
I feel like I do that to people who take my magic cards. All right, hold on. Now that I finally got into my information about guns, I want to get into this. So here's some founding information. Historians estimate that as early 850 AD, alchemists in China stumbled upon explosive properties of gunpowder while seeking the elixir of life. A Chinese Buddhist alchemist wrote the earliest known account of the substance, saying, some have heated together the saltpeter, sulfur, blah, 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 and flame results so that their hands and faces were burnt. So that was just the founding of gunpowder. But then the European beginnings on the Silk Road, the adventurous traders of Marco Polo. Of course, Marco Polo had to fucking start the gun brigade. What a beast. By 13th century, the ancestors of modern firearms had spread throughout Asia and Europe, where they were further developed as weapons as a form of matchlock and wheel lock and flint firewood. So basically what I'm understanding is Marco Polo started to make his own guns, and we should probably do it too. I may have to develop my own rat cannon. Let's just bring it into America real quick. Gunsmiths, skilled metalsmiths developed the American long rifle, which became known as the Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania rifle. Do you have one of those?
Of course.
You need
No,
one.
I'd probably be a millionaire if I did.
The Revolutionary War and some American militia fighters engaged in guerrilla tactics using hunting rifles to take on the British from a distance. Yeah, baby, taking on the Brits. Most militia and continental soldiers used a combination of British Brown Bess and French Charleville muskets, and the smoothbore weapons offered a less precise aim but faster reload, which we like.
Yeah. So that transitions nicely into I was always really interested in where firearms kind of took over in place of traditional weapons, right? So over in Europe, you've got your longbowmen, and how that's one thing that kind of happened earlier. But if you look at the United States, there was obviously a war going on between Native Americans and your settlers. And obviously, you know, if you want to get a little political with it, it wasn't totally black and white. There were a lot of tribes that were friendly and were massacred when they shouldn't have been. But there were also certain tribes that were extremely hostile. And I think if you look back into the zeitgeist of that era, you would not be you wouldn't look too friendly. Yeah, exactly. I love that word. But people wouldn't be it'd be like the equivalent of, and people are going to crucify me for saying this, but like, a Nazi dies on the battlefield. Like nobody's really upset about that. They're kind of like they're scalping people and they're raiding, and raping innocent villagers and whatnot. But anyway, so
kind of how I feel about what's going on in my backyard with these rats.
So guns start coming into America, but hands down, the bow and arrow was a far superior weapon for a long time in the United States. Right, we're talking all the way from when we're settled in the 1500s, early or late 1400s, and basically settlers were trying to go west, especially throughout the early 1800s, and they were totally at the mercy of raiding parties. It's mostly Comanche, right? Some Apache too. The Sioux, some of the Sioux were not very friendly. Blackfoot, but probably Comanches are the most prevalent. Pesterers of travelers trying to head west, and the firearms that they had at that time they're slow loading, very slow to reload, not super accurate. The ones that are accurate are extremely tough to reload. So I'm going to talk about a little bit how in America we started to develop weapons that could actually keep up with the bow and arrow, because it really wasn't until the late 1800s that we were able to do that.
Are we talking about the Colt 45 era?
Oh baby, we're coming into Colt.
Revolver.
So Samuel Colt, we'll get to him a little bit later. Not the greatest of guys, but anyway, we got Samuel Colt patented the revolving gun in 1836. So that basically looks like your modern day revolver, except for there's no cartridges. They're literally physically loading like a musket, a ball and a shot and gunpowder and wadding and everything into each individual canister.
Much like my rat cannon.
Exactly. So that didn't really take off for a while. In about 10 years later, we got Sam Walker, a Texas Ranger. And if you're putting two and two together there, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
A little Chuck Norris for you. He purchased.
You're saying Chuck Norris lived all the way back then?
Exactly. So this guy, Sam Walker, purchased 1,000 of these Colt revolving guns to use in combating the Comanches that were raiding Texas, as well as the Mexican army, which is coming up from the south. Still for a while though, guns were not. Him and his Texas Rangers were doing a good job against the basically bow wielding part of the population, but not really any other people were. So the next kind of development that helped that was Horace Smith and Daniel B. Wesson, Smith and Wesson, as most people are familiar with, invented
the founder of the 44
bullets
Magnum
in 1862. Well, without cartridge bullets, you can't have a 44. So that's where that comes from. I know you're excited to get to the 44 Magnum part.
Are we talking about Dirty Harry yet?
And basically it wasn't until about 1877 that they put the two and two together, where Colt producing revolving pistols and rifles, and Smith & Wesson producing cartridges, put them two together. And now you've got an accurate gun that can be reloaded and shot fast. And they can finally basically stand toe to toe with Comanche mounted warriors with bows and arrows.
That was good information.
Yeah. So I love history. So
I'm not gonna lie, you got me all chubbed up. Now, I want to know when things started to get really spicy. Next era, what would you say is the game-changing gun?
Oof. You could go
game changer
with, honestly, the Tommy gun.
Yeah, baby.
Thompson machine gun. Were you going to say the same thing?
Winner, chicken dinner. Do you know when it came in and what the conflict was involved with?
John Derringer, right?
No. He was just a dick who was shooting people with a gun.
But it was they basically had to develop an FBI to combat gangsters who were starting to use these Thompson machine guns.
So it came in 1918 during the Nicaragua-Honduras conflicts with the U.S. And it was the first handheld version of a deadly machine gun. And basically, it was used during the Prohibition, and it was used to slaughter lots of people. Federal gun control in the law, American history, the National Firearms Act of 1934, which forbid the market of the Tommy gun, which we probably should try to get on the black market. And then we were starting to go into rifles like the AK-47, that was basically created in 1947 by Mikhail Kalashnikov.
Russian made. We don't support that for sure.
They're pretty gosh darn great, dude. And then the AR-15, which came around the 21st century, dude. Basically, the modern version of the AK-47, M16, M4 carbine.
Yep. So
quite spicy.
Interesting fact: an AR-15 does not stand for assault rifle. It's actually a abbreviations for the company who originally made it, called Armalite. And you know what the M16 is, right? It's your standard Vietnam-looking rifle that all of our U.S. soldiers had. It's basically the next upgraded version of that. And they instead of calling it the M16, they called it the AR-15. And in the military, it's actually called an M4. It's essentially the same weapon, just a different length barrel.
Let's talk dream guns, just because we're on the topic. I already got the Rat King cannon. Pistol, pick. What would you pick?
Dream gun. You got to keep it classy. You could go with a Walther PPK, James Bond.
Of course, you picked that.
Yeah.
I couldn't even shoot that gun. My hands are too chunky. I'm going 44 Magnum, Dirty Harry style, nice and clean machine.
For those of you who don't know what a Colt Python 44 Magnum is, this gun is about the size of probably the femur bone of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The thing is, you can't hold the thing up with one hand. It takes about as much steel as it does to make a Honda Civic as it does to make a Colt Python.
Which is the perfect gun for me. Okay, just saying. What about
you basically get one shot off with this thing, and everybody's eardrums within like half-mile radius are blown, and everybody's so discombobulated that basically the conflict is over.
That's what most people don't understand about self-defense and conflict. It's not necessarily about how many shots you got and how much precise you are. It's about the kind of fear that you can put into the heart of the enemy. If I pull out the 44 Magnum, 6 bullets in my blue steel trim, and I'm like, Kata! They're like, what the fuck? They bail. You got your PP7, it's like, patoo, 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 patoo.
So honestly, when it comes to like home defense, honestly, like Ireland and Scotland have it pretty figured out. They don't let any of their, and like I said, I'm not a fan of government regulating anything, but basically they're not allowed to own any kind of semi-automatic pistols or rifles or anything like that. They're only allowed to have a shotgun for home defense purposes, for whether it's coyotes or I don't know, whatever kind of critters they got roaming around up there. And it works phenomenally. Nobody messes with each other because they know they all got sawed-off shotguns standing behind the door. Also, they like to drink a lot up there. That helps a lot. Makes really kind of,
that brings me to my next question.
Situation.
Which home defense weapon do you have? So we're going towards rifles. If you had to pick a rifle, what would you go for?
I mean, like in a non-funny answer, like AR-15, hands down, but like it's definitely your best home defense weapon. Next to a sawed-off shotgun, because the great thing about that is you point it in any general direction and it hits everything. You don't have to be good.
I'm going Stagecoach, double barrel. And I've just got cargo shorts full of about 40 shots. And
I love nothing more in an action movie when someone busts out a double barrel shotgun, because everybody else has whatever they're shooting has at least like 30 to 60 rounds in it. And with a double barrel shotgun, you get 2. And you got to crack the thing out and load it back up.
You know, my favorite part is you see the double barrel shotguns that they saw off like literally right past the trigger.
Oh yeah.
How bad do you think that would hurt your hand?
If what?
Not shooting the hand, shooting the gun itself. Like a good 12 gauge shotgun sawed off.
Oh, the recoil?
Yeah.
Oh, it would be significant, especially not having that the buttstock into your shoulder.
That's what I'm talking about.
It would most likely kick back, and that gun is designed for the weight of the front of the barrel to counteract the blowback, the recoil. So it most likely would come up, and that barrel would hit you square between the eyes and probably knock you out.
I mean,
we should try this.
Do you think,
I think is what it comes.
Do you think you have the beans?
So wait, let me throw an interesting fact in there. Do you know that from the time firearms were around, since the Second Amendment ratified in 1778 or something like that, the first law to be passed against any firearm whatsoever, 1934. So that's 150 years later.
Had to do with
FDR, who I'm a huge fan of, sawed-off shotgun. You were still allowed to have all sorts of machine guns, cannons, grenades, like no regulation on anything, but nope, no sawed-off shotguns. Don't ask me why on that one, but FDR said no, so people listen.
Hold on, what's FDR's last name?
Roosevelt.
That's what I've been trying to get. Why? Do you know you're saying Roosevelt? It's Roosevelt.
It's 2 O's.
Roosevelt. It's like when people from Jersey.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
There you go. You've been saying that the whole podcast.
So I'm trying to think of the relation there. I think it's Teddy Roosevelt's.
You're saying Roosevelt again.
I am saying Roosevelt. I told you that. I think it's like nephew or like second. What do you call maybe great nephew is FDR. And actually, so do you know that Eleanor Roosevelt, right? So FDR's wife was also related to Teddy Roosevelt. So it was like, some second or third cousin-ish, but for all intents and purposes, it was fairly ancestral.
Sounds like a Benny story. We'll stop
I
that there.
try to refrain.
We'll stop that
like this.
We'll stop that there before we start saying anything unfair.
Dude, I'm sweating so bad right now. Oh my God.
That's what you get for podcasting in a car.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's just get out a couple more facts. Samuel Jackson, the actor, has spoken out against gun control and revealed he carries a weapon.
We got a sauna going on here.
He carries a weapon that he would not hesitate to use against burglars. He added also,
where are we at
he
here?
would use against burglars. He uses a gun against anyone who would break into his home. He said he would tell any intruder, "Get the fuck out of my house. I have a gun." Adding, who's this? This is Samuel Jackson. Adding, the warning was ignored. A big tongue of fire will come out of the end of this weapon. Johnny Depp might be notoriously liberal, but when it comes to guns, he sits far right. Depp said, "We would just go out and line up a bunch of cans and shoot with rifles, handguns, and at times submachine guns. When I was a kid, it was a controlled atmosphere. We were shooting at we weren't shooting at humans. We were shooting at cans and bottles mostly. I will certainly take my kids out target practice as well." Bruce Willis is into this. Whoopi Goldberg's a big gun fan. Angelina Jolie. This is an interesting one. Angelina Jolie. What's that?
I'd say Jennifer Lawrence.
Really? Well, this is the crazy one. Angelina Jolie is a longtime firearm enthusiast, and she has a custom pistol called the Cisco 1911, which is built by the Jesse James Firearms Unlimited. And the gun is engraved with the slogan "Mama knows best" and costs $400,000. She also loves paintballing, which we do. That's
fantastic. We've got some great paintball stories.
God damn, dude. Kempson shot me in the tip of the penis one time at point blank. And he's got a terrible shot, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So he basically, I shot him in the chest at point blank because I'm a friend. He shot me in the Johnson, and I blacked out.
I aim for center of mass, And if your center of mass happens to be Daniel Johnson, that's good for you.
Good for you, dude. Understand, if you want to take out a table, you got to go for the small legs.
A few other notable celebrity gun enthusiasts, we'll call them. We got Ashton Kutcher, Madonna, Clint Eastwood, but that's a no-brainer right there. The legend. Howard Stern, a fan favorite there. We got actually probably your favorite on this one will be James Earl Jones, voice of Darth Vader. Yeah, avid gun enthusiast.
Anybody else?
That's for like sort of people you wouldn't suspect so much to be, gun enthusiasts. But there's a lot out there. Like I said, if you do the math, there's 393 million firearms in this country, so it's a good chance there's one in most households.
How many guns do you own at this point?
7, maybe.
Relax. I own 0.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I was given a shotgun when I was a kid, and it's probably sitting somewhere in my dad's house. We
should go next time we're together. We should go trap shooting because it's the most fun thing you'll ever do.
Trap shooting?
Yeah. Well, so it's shotgun, and you basically like hit the foot pedal, and or someone throws it, and the clay disc shoots up in the air, and you got to hit it. And skeet shooting, trap shooting, they're similar. Yeah, same. It's basically duck hunt. Like, you ever played duck hunt when you were a kid?
Well, I have a cabin that should be rolling through, and I need you to catch a flight next week. We got a lot of work to do.
Actually might be there next week.
Come on, bro. Listen, everyone on the podcast wants us to come together. I'm going to take one room and dedicate it specifically to this company. It's going to be a media house. We can work. We can shoot stuff. I also today just got a Bobcat Trap, and there's a chemical called cat collector. I'm not saying I'm going to catch bobcats. I'm just going to say that I'm going to lure them in. I'm not going to say if I say that I actually capture them, there's laws in California that says I'm not allowed to. So I'm not going to capture them.
I'm pretty sure if they come on your property and they're eating your vegetation,
I'm not capturing them at all. It's just random that they walked into this steel cage filled with cat collector. Not my choice.
Let me ask you this, and this is all hypothetical, and I'm an animal lover 100%, but just to say that I were to, have a custom bobcat coat made from an animal that I may or may not have trapped on your property, with like legalities behind that?
I don't research that kind of thing because it's not something I'm interested in.
Okay, well, suit yourself.
I don't know if you're seeing what I'm saying.
Picking up what I'm putting down over here.
No, truth be told, there's a baby bobcat on my property right now that's running all over the place. I see him almost every night.
Is it really?
Yeah, he's a freaking blast.
Dude, I'll bring Fonda out there, and she probably won't scare him off. She's more of a lover than a fighter.
Exactly. So I got this thing, and I'm pretty much just lining up. I want to know what he's up to. So I'm just setting it up like a cozy little cabin.
You need a trail cam. Get yourself a trail cam.
Where do I get that? Is that another Amazon purchase? Because I'm ready to buy.
Yes, you can get it. Yeah. I would say like Dick's Sporting Goods, but you can get one from Amazon.
Easily incentivized Amazon buyer.
They're under like $100, and they have like a Velcro strap. You like strap them around a tree. They're like camouflage, and they just take pictures of everything that walks by. So if you see Benny's creeping around like behind your house in the woods naked, you'll catch it on camera. You probably even get ones that update to your phone like a Ring doorbell.
I'm going to put that in my room because I'm 95% sure that my cleaning lady, she does a terrible job at cleaning. Like, she just...
What's her name, Dolores?
No, Anita. And I've always joked with my roommate that she comes in here, she like literally dusts the top layer and then spends the next 90 minutes farting on my toothbrush because like I'm amazed by how bad of a job that she does. And she's been coming here for years, and like, I'm not a jerk. I'm like, hey, Anita, just gonna let you know that like you didn't try, and like, let's just team up on this. Like, what do you need? What do you need tools wise to make this a better job for you? How do I make this a better workspace? She didn't speak a lick of English, so none of that's really translating. Trail cam will capture it though. Once I have proof, that's where we start.
So basically, you're telling me you're going to start blackmailing your cleaning lady.
I would never do that. I just want her to know that I know. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough.
So what's next for you?
So I actually just officially got my invite for High Rocks down in Dallas.
Official.
What's that, in 3-4 weeks from now? About
You want the good news or the bad news?
is it canceled?
No. The good news is it's happening. The bad news is Biden, because I think he's doing a tremendous job. Just fucking kidding. He stopped travel. He stopped travel from the European Union to the United States because he thinks Europe's too much trouble with COVID right now. Like we fucking have anything figured out, that asshole. So Luke's not able to come over and compete. Imka's not
Do you
able
think
to
we
compete.
can smuggle
Viola.
him? I know he doesn't speak very good English and he won't really know what's going on. But if we show up at his house and we just kind of, black bag over his head type thing and just, shove him in a suitcase and get him back over here.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just disappointed. So the good news is, yeah, obviously we get to compete, but I really wanted to compete with Lucas. I think he's a tremendous athlete. I think he's awesome. I think the girls over there are absolutely amazing. Like I'm super inspired by how talented they are. They truly
that girl,
put a beating on the girls in the United States.
What's her name?
Imka is amazing, but this other girl,
Imka,
Viola, is a Terminator.
Really?
Terminator. Dude, she's the most talented girl in the field.
Because Imka is like no offense to her, but she's like smaller and skinnier than like any female OCR athlete we have.
And she's a beast.
But she's a freaking beast.
Yeah, I know, dude. So I'm just disappointed that we're not going to get to see that. So you got High Rocks coming up. That's April 10th. We got a month from today.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm throwing on some running and some faster pace running and some more sports specific stuff over the next couple weeks. And then, so after that, we go April 10th, High Rocks. And then May 1st and 2nd is Tactical Games, Utah, where that'll probably be the most competitive event of the year so far. That'll give a good indication of how things are going to stack up for the national championship in Texas at the end of the year. How about you?
When's the national championship?
November.
Oh, dude, you'll be in sick shape by then.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm trying to put together this Murph thing. I'm between you and I and anybody who's listening to this podcast. I don't know if I'm actually going to compete at the Murph event this year. I might just put it together.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm not interested. It's because I'm very, very interested in trying to set this 200-pound record for the marathon. And the more information I get on it, these guys are insanely fast. And there's no hard stats. There's just like all of this like soft information. And
I'm gonna
say
this. I'm gonna say this as your friend.
What?
I am not really putting two and two together. How that means you can't compete at Murph.
I have to start running a lot more, man. I have to start running a lot more and not do all the push-ups and pull-ups and stuff. Like I cut down from 4 days a week in the gym down to 3 days a week in the gym. And it's amazing how much better I feel down to 3 days.
Yeah. I do know I had to make a decision about whether I was going to go all in for Murph or not. And I'm staying focused on the tactical games. And I hate to even say that because that's what everybody says when they're like, they make an excuse before the event even happens. They're like, well, I wasn't really training for this. When Murph comes around, I'm going to give 100% effort. I'm sure you are, but we got other things that are priorities right now.
So I'm researching this one guy, and I don't want to mention his name because if he knows that I'm on to him, then I think things may change. But the person's running 100 miles a week. He's not as heavy as I am. I don't think he is above 200 pounds, but he's close enough that he wanted to bump up and still run. He maybe lose less than 10% on his pace. And it would be an insane...
What's he running for marathons right now?
Let's just say sub 230, around the 230 mark or sub.
So for you to have a shot, you'd have to be 201 and run 230, 229.
I would have to run between 232 and 228, I'm assuming. And I'm just doing the math. Like right now, I know I'm in 245 shape. No questions asked. I think that extra 15 minutes is
A lot.
is a
That's like
perfect
40.
training.
That's like 40 seconds a mile faster to
Yeah.
get 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds a mile faster. It's like it's a lot. And it's such specific training. And I'm starting to do all the research. Like, dude, I read, is it really 40?
Yeah, more closer to 40 than it's 30.
Whatever.
That's neither here nor there.
But I'm doing the math in my head, and it's just like Murph was perfect for us last year because it just was the time, like there was nothing else to focus on. But I really like I'm starting to think about it a tremendous amount. I can train for high rocks and just really crank up my running and almost not change anything about my training and be ready for high rocks.
The amount of push-ups,
the amount of push-ups, pull-ups, and squats that I have to do, I'm just going to show up in insane shape and just hope that for some reason I don't I'm just going to not get hurt and I'm not going to overtrain, which I did last time. So here's hand on my heart. Like my biggest goal right now is that marathon training. And it's going to be really, really focused, smart training. And it started last week and I feel great about it, but I can already tell, like I went in today and I strained my back because I was like, Hunter, you need to get all these pull-ups in. And I just did too many. And I was like,
man, well, I'll tell you right now, there's a guy riding a scooter down the boardwalk dressed like a Teletubby. And he's got the biggest smile on his face right now.
My jersey's great.
I'm going to tell you right now that I do not envy you at all having to train for a marathon. Good on you, but that sounds fucking awful.
I think it's like a one and done kind of thing.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a one and done kind of thing. I'm not tremendously inspired by running, especially road racing.
Yeah.
I love racing when there's other things involved. I just don't necessarily love the traditional sport of running because it's too one-dimensional and it's too boring. So yeah, that's where I'm at, man. But
I hear you.
Where are we going to see each other next? April 10th, 1 month from now?
At the very least, in Dallas. Dude, someone just told me this morning that the resort or like hotel or whatever that they're having this place at has pools and like cabana bars and all sorts of shit. Like it's like a really cool venue they're having it at.
I'll be there fully in the nude. Before and after the race. And last but not least, can we get a commitment out of you that you're going to come to Fort Wilderness for week 1?
I'll be there. I'll be there, but I don't know. There's no definition of what week 1 is. I don't know what that means.
Week 1's we should have the property between March 17th and 24th. That's the week that we're getting it. So that means we get one solid week of training in with the rat cannon. And
I think what we really need to think about is when we put a podcast on up there in Fort Willie, who are we going to invite up to have on it?
That fucking crazy guy, the Illuminati dude.
I think. Oh, absolutely.
He's like, bingo, bingo, bingo. We're doing pull-ups. We're doing push-ups. Do you feel the journey?
Did you see what that guy did? The 1,000 pull-up challenge he did yesterday?
No.
1,000 pull-ups. Because remember we did the 500 pull-up challenge? And I think you hit 59, and then I did it in 55. And we could have kept going back and forth in that game. It's just a matter of setting your pace.
What did you do?
He did 1,000 an hour 40, hour 39. And they're good pull-ups. He's got them all recorded. They're very good looking pull-ups.
Somebody like that, I don't know if he could do it because eventually time would just take him out. I think Hobie still could set the pull-up world record, but if that guy really trained at it and probably lost 20 pounds, he could probably set the pull-up world record.
Yeah.
He's too freaking big. I love him.
Yeah, I know. We should get him up there. I also think that we should get someone on the podcast who's killed somebody before.
Gosh, that is that was a huge turn from the most inspiring man to fitness into a murderer.
I know. Well, no, I'm not saying a murderer, but just maybe, it could be obviously you could go down the military route, or it could just be someone who was defending their house.
Let's bring Chris on.
Chris from Delta Chris from Fort Bragg.
Let's not use any last names, but
yeah.
Dude, he's probably the
great
coolest
idea.
person in the entire world. He knows it better than anybody.
Yeah,
Greatest
and
soldier in the universe.
that's not us being like, oh man, I want to know what it's like to kill somebody. Just like it's an interesting thing that not a lot of us have to deal with. Or God bless their souls. There's a lot of people who do have to deal with that on a daily basis, but it's not something that a lot of us have to deal with on a daily basis. And be just interesting to get inside the mind of someone like that.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's what I'm saying. Come out here and we will set up an entire week up at Fort Wilderness. We're going to get crazy. We're going to get buck wild.
Look,
and
I'm going to bring a 6,000 pack of BBs.
Let's do this. I got to do this because it's it's going to help us grow. People, if you are a fan of this, here's what we're doing. Please like, follow, subscribe. That helps us grow and also connect with the YouTube so that it's going to be able to push this higher up on the list so that other people can get engaged with it. But more importantly, we don't care about growing the business that much. We care more about growing the business with you guys. So if you listen to this, please write down below any topics, any people, or any questions you want us to answer. We're going to do our very best. So all we have to do is scroll below this video and write a comment of what you're interested in, and we'd like to talk about it. We're basically trying to come up with all the most interesting topics, the most interesting people, and just rap. We had a great time today. We had a great time before. The best way to keep this thing going is we stay connected with you because we don't have all the ideas. Some of the ideas have to come from you guys.
Yeah,
if
someone throws out, like, nothing's off the table. Someone can. I mean, we might be able to get Biden on here. To be honest, it's not out of the realm of, not out of the scope of possibility.
Well, I'm trying to get Biden on.
He might be a cool guy to hang out with.
Of course,
he also might just like.
He's not going to try to big. You think he's going to try to big time us? Because we got a great platform.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's what do you call him? Like working class Joe. I think.
Isn't he like worth hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah, that's there's definitely some.
There's some class and maybe there's some work in it, but that's not working class. All right.
I don't know like where presidents get the audacity to try to like relate themselves with different people like that. But anyways,
I'm going to hit stop on the record. You guys know what to do. Thank you for tuning in. Rocky Mountain Kempson and Hunter McIntyre. Over and out.